You're listening to the ChasoCast. I'm your host, Blair McLean, and with me, as always, is Taylor Rumis.
Hi.
Shani Cullivan.
Hello.
Lala Lamond.
Yo.
And today's episode, Taylor eats a live goat.
With tartar sauce.
Alright, today's topic of discussion is rumors and pre-production things and betas and stuff that never really quite made it. I'm going to talk about Sonic 3 and 2 betas, as well as the original anime series that never got made. I think 06 was bad. This isn't really... Not 06. 06 isn't an anime. I'm an idiot. Just so you all know. I mean, if this is your first episode, which it probably is, or maybe it isn't. If this is your first episode, you know I'm an idiot.
If you watched the first episode, you're not back for more a second time.
Yeah, I don't know why you ever watch us, ever. But comment, rate, and subscribe.
Self-esteem issues, my god.
Oh, you're one to talk.
I'm
Anyway.
watching for my body.
Yes, we're all watching it for Taylor's sexy body.
I'm just here for the free food.
Oh god.
It's your food.
Way. I'm going to talk about the Sonic 3 beta. There's some unused sprites in it that are kind of interesting. He had something, I can't even speak. The intro was going to have an alternate ending where he was surfboarding to Angel Island instead of going supersonic. And the sprite actually looks more like his Sonic 2 sprite than his Sonic the Hedgehog 3 sprite. You can you see it using the debug. There are also a couple unused idle animations, such as one of him being bored, but instead of pointing towards the direction he's facing, he falls asleep. It was never used.
Oh, that'd be cute.
He also had one where he whistles. I'm not sure what that would have been used for. I think it was probably going to call Tails or something.
What, like a dog?
Yeah. Yeah, like
Sonic's pet.
Come here, Tails. Come here.
No, it's creepy.
What?
Tails' name, Miles, actually means servant.
Means what?
servant.
Servant.
There's also an unused sprite of the Penguin Badnik from Ice Cap Zone
The mighty penguinator.
at a diagonal angle.
That thing is such a dick.
So it's possible that they made a
I never liked him.
It's possible that the Ice Cap Zone may have originally been more dickish and annoying than enemy. Also, there's a unused frame of a sprite with Eggman running where he has a different facial expression than normal.
How sexy.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's all I got
Forget
now.
Forget my body. Everybody wants Eggman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beast.
Sexy, sexy Robotnik.
iPod first.
Sonic 2 had a bit more interesting stuff to it. It actually had scrap zones, the most infamous being the Hidden Palace Zone, which a lot of people have seen. It's a big cave full of Jones, full of jewels. Yuji Naka's copy of his beta cartridge was actually stolen at a toy show in New York in 1992. And that's why people know a lot more about it. So, more stuff.
Okay.
There's dead silence. People. More things. There was going to be a wood zone, which was set in a big forest. And that's all there is to it. What I find funniest, Genocide City Zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really? I never heard of this.
Yes.
For translation would have been Cyber City Zone, but, Genocide City works fine.
Yes. It was
It's
apparently
my home
cut
planet.
for being. It was apparently cut for being too morbid because there was actually skeletons.
Well, with a name like that, I think it would be. But it would be kind of funny to see.
The name in itself is morbid, but it was actually cut because it was actually quite a scary looking place in and of itself. There was apparently skeletons chained to walls. There was things hanging from the ceiling.
It's like my home planet.
Well, on that tangent, there was also some fans that believe Sonic 2 was originally going to incorporate my sneezes. But with those, a time travel mechanic similar to Sonic CD. A lot of the people who believe this suggest that the two teams worked and exchanged ideas. People find some things odd that don't make sense. Like the original name of Aquatic Ruin Zone in the prototype was Neo Green Hill Zone, which people thought was a possible future or past version of Green Hill Zone. The fact that some prototype zones share soundtracks, like Wood Zone uses the music from Metropolis Zone, and Genocide City Zone uses music from Chemical Plant Zone, and so it makes sense because they were in development around the same time. So, anyone else have anything to say?
Well, we have some before Sonic was even released, concepts. For example, Madonna. For folk who don't know, she was supposedly a sort of parallel to Amy Rose in that she was going to be Sonic's actual girlfriend and chase him around all the time. However, this was taken out by Sega of America, specifically one employee who thought it was too Japanese and wanted to soften the series for younger children.
If only Madonna were just a fictional character that got scrapped by Sega of America.
It reminds me of like Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit type of thing. That's what I think of when I see that.
That's kind of why
I've seen the artwork for it.
For Madonna.
Imagine it's creepy.
It is quite creepy, actually.
But apparently that sparked like a really big debate between Sega of America and Sega of Japan, even though Sega of Japan later came to admit that it was probably for the best.
Yeah, Yuji Naka himself said that. However, the reason we bring it up was because it parallels, obviously, Amy Rose in the sense of she chases Sonic around. However, the same concept, as people should know, was implemented in Sonic 06, or Next Gen, or whatever you prefer to call it.
Death incarnate!
Whatever you prefer to call it, regardless of what you prefer to call it, the sort of issue we brought up was if they'd left it Sega of America, which obviously they didn't, but if they had, would people still get pissy about it? I.e. the Sonic Next Gen story?
I don't know. I think maybe if they had implemented it earlier, in kind of like what you had said with the Jessica Rabbit thing, they would have, people wouldn't have seen it as a bigger deal, and in later years, when they tried to make it more mature, people would have thought, well, it is a little weird, but it's part of the series, we can't change it now. But
yeah, exactly. Because, the parallel we brought up was obviously all them and Jessica and Roger Rabbit. There was not a lot of flack with them two.
True.
Ever.
The kind of the point of Jessica Rabbit was she was supposed to be a little, sketchy, a little dodgy.
Yes, okay.
And,
fair dues.
And, the animators probably drew her for odd reasons that aren't to be discussed here.
Okay. Regardless of that, it was just...
Also, that's the entire point of the joke with her character. I mean, if they were going for the joke that Sonic is a 3-foot-tall hedgehog and he has this attractive woman lusting after him, then that would have been funny. But if it would have just been like a regular relationship, it would have just been creepy.
Yeah, I can understand.
It depends on what you play it off for.
It's kind of a sketchy subject considering how 06 was reviewed, etc. So,
Sex
enough.
being reviewed.
Sex being reviewed.
From a 1 to a 10.
The other concept that was taken out of Sonic 1, which was sort of implemented later on in the series, was Sonic was meant to have a band.
Yeah, Sonic was originally.
A rubber band.
No, not a rubber band.
But how was that implemented, though?
You weren't specific.
No, still, let me expand it further then.
Because he has a guitar
He's
in
an
his
unlockable
ass.
character in the newest Guitar Hero game.
It was sort
That'd
of
be cool.
implemented later in the series, as in that the band was actually meant to be part of a screen test for Sonic 1. And, of course, the screen tests were implemented later in Sonic CD.
Yeah.
However, it was taken out because it was... I think it was either too much time... There wasn't enough time, to put it in. But what they did was they put in the chant Sega to make up for the space in the cartridge.
Huh.
Which took up 1/8 of the game's cartridge itself and actually possibly takes up more space than entire zones.
That's
hilarious.
That's hilarious.
That's incredible.
They couldn't do all that with their fabulous blast processing?
Well, I think it was like sort of just at the end of production. I don't have a lot of information on that. I just know that it was sort of taken out for technical reasons.
Well, that must be why there's so many works that like to portray Sonic in a band. Most infamously, Sonic Underground.
Sonic Underground actually started off as an idea for Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I can see that.
The idea was that they would go around the world and they would sing a song each episode, but some that decided to give Sonic a brother and a sister.
And have them all be voiced by Urkel.
Yes, exactly.
And give the
And Manic turned out to be the best out of them all.
Yeah.
No, it didn't.
I love Manic.
A lot of people did.
people like Manic because he has an interesting character design.
A lot of people preferred him more than Sonic. They all preferred Manic.
Yeah.
Like, he was like the best character in that show.
I think
that
the
show-
animated
that show
series
sucked.
is a different show though.
That show kinda sucked though.
Kind of.
At the mention of sprites, Sonic... I'm trying to keep it going! Sonic CD has unused sprites of Sonic sneezing.
Huh.
As he does in the opening.
Just like Blair.
Good douche.
His sprites aren't unused though.
I keep thinking of the drink Sprite every time you say Sprite.
Oh, for God's sake.
I just think Cabal's a Sprite.
Speaking of Sonic being an idea or of being a character in different stuff, like for like Alvin and Chipmunks, I came across this rumor that is there's apparently a rumor floating around that the Sonic series itself is going to get canceled, and Sonic is going to be moved over to Skylanders. Which would be stupid, but
Yes.
that is
I haven't heard of that.
that is one thing I've come across.
That would be awful.
That would be awful.
I would hate it.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, and then they used the Eddie LeBron sprite for Sonic.
Oh. Ouch. That hurt physically.
There's also...
On a lighter note, I'm going to explain to you what blast processing is. Now, most people think it's just a propaganda term, which it mostly is, but they way overblew it. It refers to the Genesis's ability to do very fast DMA transfers, most especially during the vertical refresh, which allowed the system to, quote-unquote, blast memory to the screen. It's used in Sonic games, and gave them and it's what allowed him to move really quickly without the system, buggering itself out.
So much so, apparently the game had to be slowed down because it gave Eugene Aka motion sickness.
Yes, the game it is the video game equivalent of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Sonic, you made your dad ill!
Happy Father's Day, Daddy!
Moving on, I'd also like to mention what America is known as Sonic the Hedgehog the movie. was originally intended as an OVA series of Sonic the Hedgehog. Kind of like...
Part.
What?
Is it not in 3 parts?
It's in 2 parts.
It's 2 parts, sorry.
And it was going to be an anime that would, like, tell an original-ish story, but it got cut after just 2 OVAs, and when it was brought to America, they put them both together as a movie.
Yes.
In Japan, it's just known as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, it's really entertaining. I mean, it gets a lot of things wrong, and the dubbing is pretty atrocious, but it's entertaining.
And Sonic's voiced by a 14-year-old boy.
And Robotnik's a pervert.
And Robotnik's a pervert. It's got a pretty nice soundtrack, though.
I don't know. I think
the
Eggman's
animation.
kind of a pervert in X at times, though. Like the way he looks at Rouge, and during the part of the series where he finds out Rouge is coming to talk over a deal with him, the way he acts about it makes him seem really pervy.
They all thought he looked like a pervert in 06.
Yeah.
No, that time he just wanted to make hell.
There's also a weird...
He's a lonely man.
There's some weird little glitches in production. Like, they refer to Knuckles as a mole and an accomplished flyer, when we all know he is in fact an echidna that glides places. But the movie also does have a few, like, periphery things that were word of God that don't really ever show up in the game, like Tails being afraid of lightning. It's also animated by the same people that did the Sonic CD intro and ending. And so it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And also, for no reason, Knuckles wears a hat and is called an accomplished traveler, even though he never travels anywhere in the games.
Yes.
He travels in his mind.
I think the point is they're meant to say he's like a treasure hunter. Not so much a traveller, but...
But that's Rouge!
Well,
Rouge is a thief treasure hunter Locke from Final Fantasy VI.
Well, yeah, no, Knuckles is also a treasure hunter in games, but I don't have the first clue what he treasure hunted. Maybe he found old stuff laying around Angel Island.
No, he just breaking the Master Emerald and having to hunt for it.
Yes, I think the point is he's a treasure hunter should the Master Emerald go to bits.
Like it does a lot.
Like it does a lot, yes.
Has he ever thought of super glue?
Yeah.
He can't leave the island to go to the shops, pal.
We'll get Sonic to go get some.
Amazon.
I'm guessing that's just kind of what he did as a hobby for all of the years that he lived alone on Angel Island with nothing to do.
Forever alone.
So he would bury rocks. Then he would bury rocks, get really drunk so he forgot where they were, wake up the next morning and try to find them.
He does like
it's like a dog when they bury their bones. You try and find them the next day.
Yeah.
He would go stand in a corner, close his eyes and count to 10 and then go looking.
Other unused concepts was apparently, according to a sort of interview for the short Night the Werehog, the Werehog was meant to, or possibly was meant to, go super at one point during production, due to the fact there's concept art, or at least speculation about this, that shows the Werehog with supersonic
Yeah, no, I heard about that. It was he was originally planned to go supersonic for the final boss, so it would be a big 2-parter final boss.
That would have been cool, but I don't think it would have made much sense.
Yeah.
Considering, Light Gaia seems to power the Chaos Emeralds in that game. Or at least the powers seem to be related to Light Gaia.
Which is probably why it was cut, yeah.
Yeah.
Also...
They said the way that it worked was, somehow the Chaos Emeralds are linked to the Gaia temples, and the power from the Chaos Emeralds was what activated them so they could put the Earth back together and form a giant mech.
Yeah.
Giant stone mech punch out.
Yes. On the subject of Night of the Werehog, most folk obviously, or hopefully most folk know, that there was a Dreamcast in Sonic Unleashed, And
That it's on Eggman's little console thing.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original final boss was supposed to work. What I heard from it was Dark. It was actually like Dark Gaia coming up out of the planet, and you'd be like in space, and you'd be the werehog, and you'd grab onto meteors to like fling yourself at him.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
And then during the day
It's
part, you would
Rystar.
fly around you would fly around in space and fly at it.
They should have made
It was supposed to be like a really huge final boss, but they couldn't do it because it was too big.
They should have just made all the werehog levels Rystar.
That would have been cool.
That would have been perfect for a cameo. You just throw Rystar at him.
A good way they could implement Knuckles back into the games is have werehog-esque beat-em-up sections for Knuckles. Have classic 2D sections for Tails, and have the 2D, 3D for Sonic.
Or just make Tails like he was in Sonic. Adventure.
Sonic. That's another unused one I've never heard of.
Okay.
You should watch.
Okay, on the subject of Night of the Werehog, there was also a cutscene that involved Chip and Sonic with the Dreamcast. It was cut for time reasons, I think.
Huh.
Yeah, left on the cutting room floor. It was never finished. However, there is some sort of rough modelled animation, or at least stills of such thing, of Sonic and Chip playing the Dreamcast. With Chip with a very serious expression on his face.
Huh.
He's playing Sonic Adventure 2 and being like, this game is freaking awesome!
No, he's working really hard on raising his chows.
Yeah.
Also, as a sort of added, there is an Easter egg in Sonic Unleashed, which if you stand near a certain building in Spagonia, I think, you can hear someone whistling the theme tune in the shower.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that one. There's apparently a point where, somewhere in Windmill Isle, where if you look really close, it's in the background. You can see Knuckles standing off in the background.
There was a few rumors about
You Albus!
Yeah.
You jackass!
there was a few,
Shadow as well.
They meant
Yeah.
to be characters, but they never
There's a-
put in.
yeah, there was a few rumors going about Unleashed. That Knuckles was going to be in the story, and he was actually meant to be in the story. Shadow was meant to shoot the werehog.
It's hunting season.
No! Why would you give Shadow guns again?
Shadow was meant to go after the werehog under the orders of GUN. The Chaotix were meant to turn up and try and figure out what the werehog was.
Was there a rumour that Knack the Weasel was meant to be in this game?
That Weasel was meant to shoot with the werehog, sorry, not Shadow. Yeah.
That makes a little more sense.
Yeah, Shadow was apparently meant to go and find out that Sonic was the werehog, but he was meant to try and get rid of him under the orders of GUN, and it was a bit complicated. Lots of rumours about Knack the Weasel appearing, because he appears, or he looked to have appeared in Night of the Werehog, when it was actually a suit of armour.
Well, there's a concept I heard in Unleashed. I don't know where about, but if you go behind a building and you sort of type in a lot of code on the controller, Shadow appears on the roof. We just sort of stand there.
So another one of them for
Are
Sonic
his arms
Adventure.
folded?
What?
Are his arms folded?
I don't know. I think it's just sort of... Well, probably, because it's Shadow, yeah.
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 I think
There's
it's
another-
just cold. Somebody should get him a coat.
There was another rumour such as that Knack the Weasel was meant to appear on a certain building in Sonic Adventure 1 if you put in a certain code.
There's
Or
a
something.
few things like that. If you put a
Yeah.
code in, they'll...
Super Sonic was originally meant to be a in-level playable thing in Sonic Adventure.
Yes,
If you go
because
through
there's...
like everything in the sound test, you can hear T-Call explain how to use it.
Yeah, get 50 rings and watch your ring consumption, you'll turn into Super Sonic, yes.
So, anybody got any other rumors?
Well, I've heard a few, like, just myths, and maybe you can confirm them, or somebody else can confirm them.
I
I've
don't
got
know
a
if
few
I'm exactly the authority. As I stated earlier, I'm
Well, maybe you'll know if it's true or not, 'cause I don't know.
don't know if
I've got a few...
Sega has announced anything or not.
I don't know, these are just, like, things I see people comment on pictures or stories on RG
I've
or
got-
Facebook or stuff.
I've got a few sort of concepts that were sort of in between pre-production for Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh.
apparently Tails and a few other characters, I can't remember who, were sort of shoehorned into the game due to fan lashback over having them not in the game, more or less. And the only characters who were actually meant to be playable were Sonic, Shadow, and Eggman. And it was meant to have the same sort of playability as Shadow the Hedgehog, in the sense of you would get in certain situations, and depending on what you chose would determine what happened in the story. For example, on the website I got this from, it gave that Sonic was trapped in a submarine at one point, and you would choose to either stay in or go out and take your chance in the water, and that would deviate what happens in the story. But due to fan lashback about certain characters not being in the game, they shoehorned Tails. I think it was just Tails and Rouge, sorry. And that's why they have such similar gameplay.
Huh.
Like, Tails has the same sort of gameplay as Eggman, and they reuse levels. It was just sort of speeded up production because a lot of fans wanted to see them in the game. And apparently, Rouge was going to be called Nails the Bat.
Yeah, I remember that.
She was going to use her claws to dig instead of, like, Knuckles and his knuckles, etc. But it was changed to Rouge to represent her personality more.
Because, she's French and red. Totally.
Rouge is a player.
Sonic Adventure 3 has been being announced off the wall, or has been being rumored at off the wall forever now. There's also been, now they're saying it's supposed to be in 2014. There's also been rumors that the Dreamcast 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
I hope that's true.
Happening.
Yeah.
I read an interview with Yuji Naka, I can't remember where, I think it was online somewhere, and he said he's desperate to make a Dreamcast 2.
Yeah, he said he's very, very open to the idea of making another Dreamcast and another Sonic Adventure.
Yes.
He also said he was planning on returning to Sega.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there's a few sort of, well, not so much rumours, but there was a lot of, again, pre-production rumours, I don't know how you could call it, but pre-production and sort of concept project names for both Sonic Next Gen and Sonic Unleashed, also known as
both supposed to be Sonic Adventure 3.
Sonic Adventure 3, also known as Sonic World Adventure, which kind of ties it over in Japan.
I heard something about Sonic 06. Apparently, they were actually going to... Well, you know how you had Shadow, Silver, and Sonic stories that you play?
Yes.
There was apparently going to be a fourth one, and it was going to be Eggman's story.
That would have been cool.
Playing as that Eggman would have...
But it was
weird.
30.
Would have been Grand Theft Auto.
It was sort of Eggman and Mephiles story. Sometimes you played Eggman, and at some point you actually played Mephiles a couple of times.
So should call it
cool.
Douchebag Story.
Speaking of 06...
I don't know if that's true or not. And I also heard for Generations, there was going to be a few cutscenes where basically it revealed Eggman controlling the Time Eater, because it basically have Eggman and Robotnik talking to each other, discussing that, but they decided to cut it out to keep it more secretive.
There was originally going to be a cutscene in Generations where it was after Sonic finished Crisis City, it's Sonic and Tails standing outside of there, talking about how they don't remember having ever been there.
Ah.
But as for 06, their word of mouth has it that Soliano was made to resemble Venice.
Yes.
Solely because they scrapped Silver's original name. He was originally going to be Venice the Ferret. And they still wanted to use something with Venice because they liked the idea, so they went...
Venice was originally a mink. Sorry.
I think it would have been cooler if, I don't know why they needed to add another hedgehog.
I don't know. I like the idea of there being one more hedgehog who did things. I don't want any more after Silver. I like the idea of there just being one more.
On the mention of the concept for Silver, he was Venice the mink or the ferret. But
to be a mink. He was going to be a mink too. They originally, apparently, at some point, they wanted to bring Mina the mongoose into the games.
Oh god,
to,
I don't like
make
her.
it a thing.
Okay, but
well, I heard there was going to be a Sonic X series, and it was actually going to be Sonic X and Saturday M characters sort of morphed into one series. It was sort of to do with the comics because people loved the Sonic Archie comics and they loved the Sonic X comics, so they sort of thought about bringing a series out. But
there was
I don't think they're going to do it.
At one point, they were planning to continue Sonic X, and the next thing they were gonna do was a Heroes arc. And I saw some concept art for it. It looked, I guess it looked kind of good, because it looked like Sonic X with a bunch of the people in their teams and Metal Sonic standing menacingly in the background sometimes. But
Well, are you sure it was legit concept art?
I'm not positive, no.
Because, that's something, back in my youngin' days, when I was still new to the internet, and I saw something that looked like it was from the show, I never got the idea that there are people that are good at drawing who can just make fake screenshots.
Yeah,
but
a lot of fake screenshots. Yeah. Another thing that I heard was that they were also going to do an 06 arc, because there was apparently going to be it was apparently going to be later in the series when Chris was older, because apparently they were planning to have a thing between Princess Elise and Chris.
Oh, we could get rid of them.
I've heard about that as well, actually.
Yeah. I see talk about it every now and then. I've never really found too much info about it.
Well, I actually heard, ever since, I think it was, ever since Sonic 06, Sega did have an idea, but I don't know if this is true. I heard, because I saw this on a picture, like, people were commenting about this, but everybody, apart from Eggman, Big, the Team Chaotix, Amy and Cream, were going to have a super form. Like, not just the three hedgehogs, there would be like Super Knuckles, Super Rouge.
I hate that idea. I hate the idea of, like, Rouge and Knuckles and Tails.
I don't know if it's true, though, so it might not be true. It's just something I remember coming across.
Yeah, no, I figure it's probably not true, but I really hate the idea of that.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it just being Sonic, Shadow, and Silver.
See, that's another reason I didn't like Silver being a hedgehog, because I think it cheapens the idea of the other two. Like, it's... Because Sonic going super is part of him. He's the hero. He gets that. And then you have Shadow, who's the anti-hero that proves he's super cool because he can do all this when he's not super, and then he goes super, and it's just like, oh shit. And then Silver's like Iblis Twinger and goes super, and it's like... I mean...
Plus, everyone thinks Silver's Shadow's son for some reason.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention.
For some reason, they think Shadow's his dad and Amy's his mum for some strange reason.
That's because someone...
He has Amy's boots.
That's because some twat in the Archie comics said they believed that, and a lot of people thought it was true.
Because a lot of people originally thought that he was Shadow from the future.
Even though Shadow doesn't age,
yeah.
And I don't think Shadow can have kids.
Yeah, he's genetically engineered. Scientifically, he shouldn't be
able
to have kids.
At the very least, he wouldn't be able to have fertile children. So
wouldn't Silver recognize his own father?
Can I mention
Nobody in the Sonic universe can have kids. Nobody has genitals.
Well, yeah, that's that too.
Can I mention,
except maybe like some of the women. Maybe.
Can I mention a thing?
Not Blaze though.
You know how many panty shots Amy originally got? She used to get like panty shots every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
From Adventure to Heroes, it happened a lot.
Kind of creepy.
And I do like the fact they made jokes about it in X. Because X was like that one of those really super censored things, and they still kept those jokes in. About her almost getting a panty shot, and then her catching it really fast.
Can I mention something?
Yes.
Okay. Apparently, also during the sort of production of Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow himself, on the subject of like Silver being a mint, etc., he was meant to be a 10 wreck to begin with, and his sort of fan name before he was unveiled was Evil Sonic, and there's apparently sort of teaser trailers that were released at certain conventions. Like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might have been E3 of a certain year. I can't remember which one though, like 2000 probably. But it was quite a dark story, and it never mentioned Tails and Rouge, etc. And yeah, as I said, a lot of people apparently thought that Silver was Shadow in the future. How that would work, I have no idea.
The hair on his chest was like a beard.
Yeah.
He dyed his fur. He didn't like being emo anymore.
What did he do with it to his spines?
Also, on the subject of, like, Law mentioned, apparently Shadow and Amy breed. That was a rumour started by someone at the Archie comics who actually believed that Silver came from Shadow and Amy, and a lot of people sort of took it and ran with it. I can't remember who it was though.
Cool. Any other rumors?
What I'm coming on to a lot here, I'm coming on it to the point where I'm kind of thinking it's true, is that the next Sonic game is supposed to be announced this month.
Yes.
I heard it within a week. They were going to release the teaser trailer.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from the Facebook page yet, but I'm coming across the rumor like a lot.
It's usually about February they release the teaser, because the game usually comes out about November time, doesn't it? Depends.
Yeah, they usually announce it in like March or May. March, April, or May, and then they usually release it in like November, December.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, guess that's all the time we have for today.
I have one more.
Never mind. Say your one more. Go ahead. You mess up my ending.
But you could have asked if we were all finished.
I keep asking if you guys aren't finished.
I was, but then everyone talked over me, and I felt
Just tell it, Lil.
No!
Okay. Well, this was about the production of Sonic, when they were creating it, like, more for games when he had, like, a voice and it was all 3D and stuff. They were apparently going to make him have an illness. Like, I don't know, like, something like, maybe similar to what Maria had. Because it was sort of...
The freaking, like, that neurological thing?
Yeah, it was a sort of thing for kids, like, if you're ill, you can still be a hero and stuff like that. Like, don't let something like that get you down, but I don't know if that's true.
But yeah, Maria, I forgot about Maria having that because they never reference it in game. That's just kind of a thing that they said.
Wasn't it sort of, was that not meant to be sort of like AIDS type of thing?
It's some sort of neurological disease.
Yeah, but
it's not AIDS.
It's very.
I know, but it's meant to be
from
like
what Taylor's told me, it seems very similar to Lou Gehrig's disease, which is what the famous baseball player Lou Gehrig has, or also known as that thing that Stephen Hawking has.
Yeah, it was a terminal disease, and that's why Gerald started the research.
Great Shadow, yeah, exactly.
But he got a big military contract to make something that wouldn't die.
Mm.
And so that's why he wanted to start that research, was so that he could hopefully use that to help find a cure.
Yeah.
And Shadow was born.
Yeah, well, first the bio-lizard.
Bio-lizard,
but he realized that it was kind of dumb.
Rawr. Yeah, he didn't stop to think of the ramifications. Imagine if he had succeeded in making her a being that could not die. That was a contract for the military. What would they have done with her?
Well, yeah, no, he had always intended on building a separate life form for it, but he was hoping on also applying that research to find a cure for Maria.
Shadow didn't like Gerald. I don't think he liked him.
Oh, Shadow loves Gerald.
No, because there's a bit in Sonic X where they're getting chased by the soldiers and they just leave Gerald behind and run away.
Gerald was on the planet.
He was old. He was going to die anyway.
Oh.
He was old. He was going to die anyway. Notice, if you look at him in Shadow the Hedgehog, when he comes up on the computer screen and he's like really fat,
he looks like
fat like Eggman. Go and look at Sonic Adventure 2, the scene where he's in prison, and look how thin he is. And that gives you the hint that, he's extremely malnourished at that point. He's also completely wrapped in chains, and it sounds like he's about to be put in front of a firing squad.
That, or they just forgot what his character model was and just made him look like an older.
He's been in the jail though. He can't
maybe
get in the jail.
Well, maybe it's because he was going to get executed, but he got his favourite meal because he wants. Cause you know how they give you your favourite meal apparently before they kill you, and he said he wanted everything.
I want one of everything. No, he comes up with the arc before the GUN shut down the Ark's research in Shadow the Hedgehog. He's really big and fat, which in plot implies that when he was in prison in Sonic Adventure 2, when he made that last recording, he was really, really malnourished. And the way they were talking made it sound like he was in front of a firing squad. And they were
exactly.
Wouldn't it be funny if he was holding a turkey leg or something?
Oh, for
he's holding a turkey leg. He's still really fat and in jail.
Before we go, I'm gonna drop my rumor. Villain of the next game, Gerald Robotnik.
With a turkey leg.
With a turkey leg. Anyway, we're out of time. I'm Blair McLean.
I'm Taylor Loomis.
I'm Shannon.
I'm high as a cake.
Lola.
Sorry, I'm Lola.
Shani.
I said bye!
Oh, okay. Well, this is the ChasoCast saying...
That's all for today.
See you later.